All right, good afternoon, everyone. It's Dr. Shiva Ayyadurai. Today we're going to have a important discussion on why it's important that I become president in 2024, what it really means to the American people, and for that matter, to the world. So we're going to have a wonderful discussion with Kiko over at, and I'll bring up the thumbnail on this. It's going to be over at the Free Thinker Forum. And we're going to really talk about why America needs Dr. Shiva Ayyadurai for president in 2024. And so we're going to have a extraordinary discussion. We're going to go across many topics. A lot of people don't know how the caste system is in India. A lot of people don't understand the grand deception that's underway, how the elites manipulate people. So let's go. Kiko, go ahead. You have the floor.
Good afternoon, beautiful people. Welcome to another episode of Kiko's Free Thinkers Forum, episode 91. And I present to you a very special guest, Dr. Shiva Ayyadurai, an MIT graduate, PhD, the inventor of internet, or of email, And he's a scientist, inventor, entrepreneur. He's a jack of all trades. He's involved in a little bit of everything. He's a Fulbright scholar who holds 4 degrees. Again, as I mentioned, from MIT, a PhD in biological engineering. And he started 7 successful high-tech companies. And he also has a movement that's very important. We're going to talk about his medical movement here in a second too, and his new product, his vitamin supplement product that we're going to discuss later on towards the end. And Dr. Shiva, I was really introduced to him really from the last 2020 presidential election with the election irregularities and the questions of the statistical anomalies. And so I always viewed Dr. Shiva as someone that was kind of outside of the system, had a free mind, a free thought process. And so I said to myself, why not invite him onto the show and see what he has to say to my audience. And so I just want to say thank you, Dr. Shiva, for coming on to Kiko's Free Thinkers Forum, and welcome to the show.
Yeah, great to be here. How are you?
I'm doing really well. I appreciate it. Stoked again to be able to talk to you this afternoon. And you hit some things right off the bat. You talked about the caste system in India. We have one in Latin America as well. But I just want to give a brief ad and just say it's very important for my audience and Dr. Shiva's audience to support independent media and independent minds, because we have to grow some kind of way. We know that we're going against a lot of strong forces. If voices are outside of the mainstream aren't really welcomed, and it's almost, what's the point of spreading this information? We have to really support people. I'm not asking for any of your money, just a little bit of your time to expand your mind. And remember, you can't unthink free thought. We have a large audience. 45% of my audience is from outside of the United States. And so this was always the intention to be an international community. And I think we've successfully done that in 16 months period of time, despite all the suppression, taking down a few videos here and there. So again, just keep supporting independent media, independent minds. And we talked a little bit off camera with Dr. Shiva, and he mentioned the caste system in India. So I think it would be appropriate to at least examine, tell my audience what your origins are, because we have 2 people also that have ties to India, and Vivek Ramaswamy and Nikki Haley. But I want people to know Dr. Shiva's story and how that relates to the bigger picture of the 2024 election.
Yeah, so welcome, everyone. This is Dr. Shiva Ayyadurai. Again, the conversation we're going to have is why America needs, frankly, me as president in 2024. And, you know, it took me a long time, Kiko, to get over when you actually do stuff and you accomplish things. In the Indian culture, there's this thing, at least among the non-Brahmins, okay, and it's very interesting to train you to be humble. And I think the Brahmin forces in India actually did this propaganda. So you're brought up always to work hard, but always to be humble. And it took me a long time to break from that brainwashing, to recognize if you actually do the work and you put the sweat in, you should get the credit you deserve. However, the Brahmins, the upper caste, teach their kids from the time they're born that they're great, Literally, they tell their kids, even though the kid may be a fucking idiot, that he's great. Okay. But this is how they brainwash their kids, the 0.001% who may be a complete doofus, to think he's somebody. And meanwhile, they've told the other 99.99% of people they're idiots. And even if they accomplish something, they should be humble. You see, this is a brainwashing. So it took me probably until the age of 40 to break from that. And that occurred with the invention of email. You see, I created email as a 14-year-old kid. I just come from India after 7 years working in a small medical school in Newark, New Jersey, created email. When I say created email, I mean, I'm the guy who wrote 50,000 lines of code to convert the entire interoffice mail system to the electronic version, the inbox, the outbox, the folders. We're not talking about simply exchanging text messages, okay? That goes back to 1930s or 40s. We're talking about the entire system, named it email, got the first United States copyright, recognizing him as the inventor of email. And that was in the early 80s when I came to MIT. But it was not until 2011 when an article came out in Time magazine saying, you know, Dr. Shiva Ayyadurai, the man who invented email, and then it went into the Smithsonian. This was 33 years later, that it created this huge fabricated controversy because it went into the Smithsonian. It should have been an occasion for celebration. In fact, a young African-American reporter wrote the story for the Washington Post. She was attacked by all these white liberals who are the real racists, by the way. And it was quite an interesting controversy that dragged on for 4 years. Eventually, I filed the lawsuit and I won. But the problem in this is that I had to go through my own personal journey to realize that you have to fight for what you actually did. And even though I didn't promote myself, but you see the average, ordinary, everyday person, be it white, black, blue, red, of the lower classes or the lower castes, we are continually brainwashed to be humble. While the elites, the 0.01%, do nothing, very little. They steal our work, and they are taught to bark all the shit that they did when they have done nothing. And this is something I want everyone to recognize, it because we are taught, oh, you know, don't be arrogant. You know, you be humble. Meanwhile, the elites are the most humble people that you can think about. All right. So it took me a while to recognize this brainwashing that occurs. And it occurs particularly to people who are outside of their bastions. They could be poor whites, poor blacks, poor brown people, poor yellow people. But among the elites in every culture, you have the Brahmins, the Zionists, the Nazis, literally. Nazism equals Zionism equals Brahmanism. And the elites have been very, very clever to do this. Ultimately, it's really a class war or caste war. And they don't want us to talk about this. But, you know, I come from the working class. I come from one of the lowest caste in India. And all of these other Indians, most of them you see here, come from the quote unquote upper caste. In fact, all of the tech companies in the United States are run by the upper caste Indians, who are the same Indians who subjugated their own because they licked British ass. Okay. Yeah. During the during the 17th, it is, that's what they did. They were bootlickers, ass lickers, because when the British came into a country, be it Africa, be it when they went to Trinidad and Tobago, whether in Jamaica, wherever they went, they realized that they only had a certain amount of white people to run those. So they found the local ass lickers, that's what they were, identified them, promoted them, and made them subjugate their own people. In fact, those dark-skinned ass lickers were far more brutal in subjugating their people than the British were. So in India, they identified all the Brahmin people. In fact, the caste system was going down from the 1500s in India. The British revived it, and they assigned all these ass lickers to subjugate their people. And through that process, that's how Gandhi came into power. And it's interesting, today's MLK Day. I mean, MLK was really not the fighter of the black people. It was really Malcolm X. There should be really a Malcolm X Day, right? Or, but, you know, to me, it's really the MLK Day in some ways is a tragedy to the civil rights movement, because it does not really talk about the real fighters who were poor blacks, poor whites. They elevated all the Uncle Toms, okay, who basically never addressed the fundamental issues, which was that you need an infrastructure in the inner cities. But anyway, this process, and by the way, everything is run out of Britain, okay, London. And it was the British elite who were the ones who created at that time in India. They resuscitated the caste system. And if you look at any one of these Indians' lines who come to the United States, except me, 99% of them, they literally are British subjects still to this day. You go to Vivek Ramaswamy, I call him Vivek the Snake. The guy's a complete dirtbag. He's a slime ball, right? He's a piece of shit, actually. He is poop, okay? And his entire origin comes from overnight. You even have another, black sellout Candace Owens, who now promotes him, she comes from that same world. Okay, people should really do some analysis of her. So what you see is that the elites, black, brown, red, or white, they will always come together against the people of the lower classes, black, brown, red, or white, yellow, whatever they are. So, 500 million people know about me all over the world. We have people who know about me, but deliberately, you can see the upper caste, the upper class in the United States colluding to do the first phase of election fraud, which is make sure the other guy who actually does all the work, who's actually known, is made invisible in their mainstream media, right? And overnight they promote a scumbag like this guy, Vivek the Snake. I mean, you got to look at his history. Total scumbag. He claimed he was against affirmative action now, but he took affirmative action scholarships when he had $2 million in the bank, the Paul Soros scholarship. Total scumbag. His parents are from the upper class caste. They sent him to private school. And then he had $2 million in the bank after hanging around with his cabal at Harvard, who gave him money, right? Supported him out of his hedge fund. So you have to understand that because they know on the ground and in the air that our movement, Dr. Shiva for President, is the real movement, the elites literally got together in a back room and they said, we need another brown, house slave who will do what we say. And they found this fucking house slave, Vivek the Snake. That's what he is. He's a house slave. And that house slave jumps when they tell him to jump. And now they have him mimicking me. You see, the deception that's going on is they know, Kiko, broadly, that people of the world, not only in the United States, the working people of the world are really looking for real heroes like myself and our movement. Real heroes. So they have said, shit, this guy, Dr. Shiva, is out there. He's figured us out. He's got all these degrees at MIT. He learned the science of systems. He knows how we manipulate. And not only that, he's teaching other people. It's like something out of, in some ways, Planet of the Apes. Okay? Seriously. It's like we're the slaves and I'm teaching others. And they don't want that to happen. So this is very dangerous. So they're like, we have to make sure that we actively suppress this stuff. So we'll use this other doofus, fucker Carlson or Joe Rogan, okay? The so-called anti-establishment people, but they're not. They're all part of the establishment, wholly part of the establishment. So as I did in a previous video called The Great Deception, the Great Deception is that they are literally creating all these fake anti-establishment people of all colors, but they're wholly part of the establishment. And because people are so desperate, because people have so little time, they outsource their activism to these morons who are basically their own, Benedict Arnolds. They're going to stab you in the back like Obama did, right? Like Trump did. And you can go down the list like Bernie Sanders did. You keep going down like Jesse Jackson did, right? Like Tulsi Gabbard did, like AOC did. All of these people are selected by the swarm to manipulate people so they keep thinking they're going to do something. And the way they do it now in the presidential election is they have the obvious, quote unquote, fake fight they set up. Red versus blue, Democrat versus Republican, right? The fake version. And then they do something on both wings of the establishment. So among the right wing or the Republicans, they have to create this drama. Ooh, Trump is fighting Nikki Haley, right? You see, and so he's the outsider fighting the insider Republican. And on the left, they'll have, last election, they had Bernie Sanders versus Hillary Clinton. You see? So they have these multiple fake fights going on to keep people stuck to the establishment. So listen again what I'm saying. They create drama and fake fights. Oh my God, Trump versus Nikki Haley. Ooh, Vivek, as though he's against any of these guys. All of these people all smoke together, hang out together, fuck each other. That's literally, they go to the same equestrian shows. They fly in the same private planes. They go to the same restaurants. And the thing is, the reason I know this is they've always tried to co-opt me. When I was in Hollywood, I went to the restaurants where they all hang out, used to get VIP seating. When I was in India, they tried to co-opt me. I've always been the guy they try to co-opt because they thought, wow, this guy's smart. He did this. He'll be one of us. But I never was co-opted. Okay. So America finally needs someone who's a real fighter, not these fake fighters, not a douchebag, Vivek the Snake, who literally took $5 million from his friends, all part of the clique, never really had to earn it, never has really built anything, takes the 5 million, goes and finds a fake drug that is a useless drug that failed 4 clinical trials at GSK, a big pharma company, buys a drug, okay? Has his mother, who's on the board of his company, redo a study of one of the clinical trials, which failed, literally puts it into an Excel spreadsheet and throws away all the data of people who never completed the trial because it had side effects, and then redoes the trial to say, oh, it's a great drug. And then they take that to Wall Street and sell it as though the drug works. And given Wall Street is run by the same upper Brahmins and the same upper elites, they all support each other because they're going to scam working people to invest in that company. They take the company public. He takes $50 million off the table. And then when they do the clinical trial, knowing it's going to fail, it fails 2 years later, and the stock drops by 99%. And then he shuts down the company. Okay? That's a fucker. That's not a guy who works hard. And that's what the Brahmins in India did to the non-Brahmins throughout India's history. And, there's a slogan in India among the non-Brahmins, the poor, if you see a snake crossing the street and a Brahmin, he goes, kill the Brahmin first, okay? And then kill the snake, okay? Because that's how devious a Brahmin is. Now, I'm not talking, and I have to put Brahmin in double quotes. The true nature of Brahmanism was you work, and thousands of years ago, you work bottoms up and you became a true yogi and an intellectual. But somewhere along the way, it became by birthright. And then it degenerated into this caste system, you see? So Brahmanism became this caste system where you were born and overnight, everyone, literally, the Brahmins believed that darker people are dirty. You're not supposed to touch them, okay? It's pretty disgusting. It's, in fact, the racism that took place to Black people, even worse than that, okay? I mean, when my mother used to go to the well, they used to shoo her away like a pig. You're dirty. Get away. So we have to understand that's where Vivek comes from. And that's what he thinks. No different than how a Zionist thinks. They're better than everyone else. And that's why they bullshit and they so easily think they can lie because they think you're all stupid. And this is what everyone needs to understand. The Brahmins, the Nazis, and the Zionists, in their ethos is all of the other people are dumb. They need to be subjugated, exploited, and taken advantage of. All right? And until people get this, you're going to be fucked, and you're going to keep thinking these people are on your side. Trump is a fucking Zionist. Joe Biden is a Zionist. Bernie Sanders is a Zionist. Tulsi Gabbard is a warmonger. They're either Zionists, into Brahmanism, or Nazism. One of the three. You pick your choice. And what's really fascinating is if you look at Nazism and you look at Zionism, what's fascinating is they both use Indian symbols. I don't know if you knew this. Nazis used the swastika.
I knew that.
Flipped it. And the quote unquote, the Star of David is really not the Star of David. It's an Indian symbol, the 6-point star, which comes out of Hinduism. So they've taken these and they flipped them, you see? So they've taken these very ancient original symbols, which actually had deep spirituality. They flipped them, which really the Brahmins created. You see what I'm saying? And promoted. So Brahmanism equals Nazism equals Zionism. And these three forces are running the world. Pure evil.
And so I get a clarification from my audience because we're very particular on clarifying terminologies on the forum. And I know that we hear these things all the time, but when the speaker says it, there may be a different context. You're explaining and connecting lots of different things. So one thing I noticed in a lot of your interviews, you talk a lot about Zionism. we brought up this a lot on the forum. We know that this has been going on for a long time. We have a current crisis, an ongoing crisis against the Palestinian community and the people of Palestine, and really, honestly, people who advocate Palestinian affairs in general, just completely blackballed, censored, persecuted, whatever you want to call it. But I want to know why such a focus on Zionism, and how does this pertain to the swarm? Because you mentioned that word a lot in your interviews. I just want my audience to understand what those two mean together.
Right. So I defined, this term called a swarm, and when everyone, I think I can share. Can I share screen on your end? Can you give me
Yes,
a
I'm going to
share
allow
screen?
it right now.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
one of the important things people need to understand is that, if people go to the website truthfreedomhealth.com, which is where, by the way, everyone should go get trained. We've created literally a university, a community, a movement where people can understand this. Without the science of understanding how the elites manipulate you, you're going to be basically a screwball, following them here, following them there, following the next big flavor that they're offering you. So it's very, very important that people understand this dynamic. So if people go to truthfreedomhealth.com, I think you can see this, right?
Mm-hmm.
You will see, are you seeing it there?
I can.
Oh, okay. It's interesting. I think I have to share it here. Also, I see what's going on. I'm sharing it. I think I'm sharing it into your window, right?
You are, yeah.
Yeah. But it's not. Oh, where is it? Did I stop sharing? Huh. Let me stop sharing here. All right. So you can, let me go here. I think I have to share it in both windows. Let me go over here. So I think you can see this, right?
I can.
Okay. So to everyone listen on my StreamYard here, I just want to share with people here this screen. So if you go here, you can see this screen here. Okay. And what I'm showing here is if you go to this website and if you scroll down, you'll see these two videos. The left one is called the Swarm video, right? How the few control the many. And I want everyone to go watch this video. I'm not going to play it now, but this video explains, it's 15 minutes of your life. There's a long form of it, which is about an hour, but you will fundamentally understand what is the swarm, who are the people that control you. And you will realize it's not any one individual. It's a multiracial, distributed, decentralized set of people and forces. So people need to watch that. So take 15 minutes and do that. And you're going to gain about 30 years of knowledge, okay, in 15 minutes. The second piece to understand is that there are many different forces. A swarm is not just, it's not the Rothschilds over here. It's not the bankers over here. It's not, Jeffrey Epstein, or it's not, Harvard, right? They all work together. It's like a swarm of birds which move. They actually have their own competing interests sometimes, like organized criminals, right? Like the Kennedy clan doesn't like some Jewish clan, right? And they may shoot each other. But that has nothing to do with the 8 billion of us, right? Let them kill each other. We shouldn't really care. But the swarm is a set of around 10, probably 100,000 people who work together in a very finite way. And there's various forces of them. There's various ideologies that they promote among the swarm. Nazism is one of them. Brahmanism is one of them. Zionism is one of them. That's a political ideology that the swarm uses to manipulate the rest of us. And that, if you look at Nazism, Zionism, or Brahmanism, there's one central thing that they keep repeating and brainwashing people. A small set of people, we are better than you. We are the better race. We're smarter than you. We know better than you. You see? And that's where the Zionist philosophy, the Nazi philosophy, and the Brahmin philosophy all come together. Okay? Now, why focus on Zionism? Well, it's not a focus. I've been speaking about this since 1980. You have. Yeah. But I realized that people conflate Zionism with Judaism. So I had to do the education. There's been all these quote unquote America First idiots who will promote Ooh, the Jews are bad. Jews are bad. And they purposely do that, and they conflate Judaism with Zionism. So you don't have to deal with Zionism. In fact, you don't have to be Jewish to be a Zionist. 70 million Christian Zionists in the United States, Christian Zionists. There's Muslim Zionists. There's Hindu Zionists. You don't even have to be in a religion to be Zionist, okay? There's atheistic Zionists. Zionism is this view that, it's a political ideology created by a guy called Theodore Herzl, who was an atheist, by the way, all right? But anyway, the reason I spoke about it more is because you have what occurred on October 7th, when that was, by the way, Israel is the one who funds and banks Hamas. They've been doing it for years. It is a Israel Mossad, which is their Secret Service agency slogan is, through deception, thou shalt do war. Through deception, thou shalt do war. Okay? So I've studied this for years and years and years and years and years. Okay? So that's why when I did that video, which I think went viral, which said I'm the only presidential candidate who does not suck Zionist cock, the truth. Okay? But I had to say it in such vitriolic terms to draw a very clear line. And then that drew people in. Then we explained to people that Zionism has nothing to do with Judaism. In fact, Zionists butchered Jews. Repeat that. Zionists butchered Jews in collaboration with the Nazis. In fact, Zionists were the police force of the Nazis in like the Warsaw Ghetto. Okay? Just like the Brahmins worked with the British to butcher non-Brahmins in India. Okay? Just like the Nazis butchered their own people who stood up to them, Germans. All right? So we need to understand that these philosophies or political ideologies are presented to brainwash people. And Zionism has taken, if you want to end the occupation of Israel and the ceasefire movement, which is also run by Zionists, by the way, ceasefire now. It's all bullshit. They've been saying that for 40 years. Ceasefire means ceasefire now, but later Israel can go and do some more bombing. The word is now. Ceasefire now. Doesn't mean ceasefire forever. Ceasefire now. Okay? And these slogans matter. My slogan is end the occupation of America. End the occupation of Zionism from America to Palestine if we want to free the world. And again, Zionism is a political ideology, which the swarm loves, just like they love Nazism, just like they love Brahmanism. This is why you saw the Hindu Brahmins in India promote the butchering of the Palestinians. You see, they're fine with that. Okay? So everyone needs to learn a little bit of history. And unfortunately, or fortunately, I'm willing to do that education. People should go to Truth, Freedom, Health and get this training. We're like a university of true revolutionary change. That's what we are. So my run for president, what's really historic about this run is that we're doing it truly bottoms up. The movement that we have is everyday working people. And by the way, anyone interested can come to every Thursdays at 11 a.m. and 8 p.m. We hold open houses. We don't collect donations like Booby fucking Kennedy does, a billionaire who claims he's fighting for people and is begging for money, says one thing and does another, says, he's one day against vaccine mandates, but everyone coming into his home was mandated to have a vaccine shot. Okay. So these people are just filth. But every Thursdays at 11 a.m. and 8 p.m., we do a Truth, Freedom, and Health, orientation. The beginning of the 8 p.m., before we start the 8 p.m., the 8 p.m., we do a town hall. And at our town halls, we teach people actually how to solve these problems. We give people solutions. So our movement is unique because no one is paid. It's working people, full-time working people who go on the ground and collect signatures to get on the ballot. Full-time working people who are involved in growing leaders. It's truly a working people's movement, bottoms up. All right? We're not begging for money. Give me money, give me money, give me money. That's what Trump does all day. Trump used all of my election integrity stuff to raise $500 million. No one knows where that went. Booby fucking Kennedy uses my rhetoric to raise money. Vivek the Snake wholesale copies it, okay? So you have to understand these people are cheaters. If you look at their background, they cheated to get any grades they probably got. They brown-nose people to get their grades. They're all full-time professional brown-nosers and cheaters, All right. They don't do any work, man. They really don't. They're all scumbags. So our movement's unique because, number one, we're telling people to build a bottoms up movement. People can go and get we tell people, you be the actual, they're not going to give me visibility. So we tell people, oh, Dr. Shiva, you should get visibility on Joe Rogan and fucker Carlson. Well, Joe Rogan has been following me for nearly 10 years. Fucker Carlson knows about me. These people are fake heroes. The day they put me on their shows are going to be done. They're going to have to shut them down because everyone watching their shows will say, wait a minute, this guy's a real deal. And because I'm going to go off on them. I'm going to expose Tucker Carlson for what he did by concealing our lawsuit. I'm going to talk about how Joe Rogan knew that I had written the papers about Monsanto and GMOs. He put the opposing scientists on not me. During the vaccine mandates, when I started the Fire Fauci campaign, many of his friends were like, put Dr. Shiva on. He waited 3 years. You see, delayed truth. Then they talk a big fucking game. These people are intelligence agency, assets of the U.S. intelligence. They wait, they delay truth, they talk a big game, but they're the deceivers. So how do we get out there? Everyone should go to Shiva for President. Get one of these bumper stickers. We pay for shipping. It's $5. You put it on the back windshield of your car. 100,000 people will see it. We get 1 million people doing that. That's trillions and trillions of views. We don't need them. So I'm not going to I'm not a grifter who does things. Ooh, I'm not going to say that because, Joe Rogan won't put me on a show. Fuck Joe Rogan. Okay. They're never going to put the real people on. And people outside of the United States, you can get Shatter the Swarm bumper sticker. Okay. These are important because you're saying you support a true fighter, you support our movement, and you're willing to put it on your car. You see, a lot of people get the bumper sticker and they're afraid, they're pussies. They won't put it on their car. Put it on your fucking car because that shows. So that's one level of activism. The other level is our volunteers get on the ground and we have to collect signatures to get on the ballot. So to everyone listening, if you say, wow, I really like this guy, well, go to Shiva #4 president.com. And what you can do there is you can literally volunteer and you'll get a personal call from my assistant directly, and we will onboard you to help us collect signatures. We need to collect about 1.5 million signatures. You see, what they do is the Democrats and the Republicans don't even need to collect signatures. So to everyone listening, you see, they cheat. Cheaters, cheaters, cheaters. And they tell their children to cheat. And this is the America that we want. This is why I need to be president, because everything I have and all of you listening, we work for. These people do not work for a living. They are full-time professional con men and cheaters. So they make sure, number one, Kiko, we don't get visibility. Well, we've solved that. We go on the ground. We do our own thing. I like independent media, right? We go direct. We want to support you guys. You guys want to support us. The second thing we do is we want people to volunteer. So a lot of people talk all sorts of shit. Oh my God, this is bad. The world is bad. But to all of you who want to do something, volunteer to go collect signatures. You're going to have to go out in the cold, stand in a parking lot, collect a signature with your notepad. Now, that's where the rubber meets the road, because you are going to face the state by yourself. Some idiot will come out from the Walmart or the Whole Foods. Oh, you can't collect signatures. And then you have to say, no, I can, because the Supreme Court says during an election cycle, I have the right to collect nomination signatures. This so-called private parking lot has been superseded by the First Amendment. Then you'll call the cops. You face the state. The cops will come, 3 or 4 cruisers. Oh, we're going to collect your IDs. We're going to arrest you. No, officer, I have the right to be here. And they'll say you're trespassing. Okay? Well, if they want to arrest you for trespassing, for God's sake, videotape that, because we'll win the civil rights lawsuit. One of our volunteers, a young gentleman, was out, an electrician on Sunday. See, all of our people work for a living. Goes out, collects signatures. He does the right thing. The cops arrest him, put him in the cruiser. This is in Kentucky. Redneck, red state, Kentucky, okay? Which is by the home of, Massey, and Rand Paul, who claim they are constitutional. They didn't do anything when our guy was arrested, because I tweeted it out. They arrest him, put him in a cruiser, take him to the jail, strip search him, cavity search him, steal his fucking money, And then I did a live saying, look what happened to our volunteer. Thanks to all of you, hundreds of you guys called. The cops got scared and let him out. All right. This is what happens to one of our volunteers. The GOP doesn't have to collect signatures. They get a pass. We have to collect 5,000 signatures in Kentucky. They don't need to do that. I don't understand why. The Democrats and Booby fucking Kennedy goes to his Zionist hoodlum friends. Oh, I need money. They give him money. And then he goes, hires professional consultants who he pays $10 for a signature. You see, they all fucking cheat. I was actually out in the cold with our volunteers in Utah, helping them collect signatures. These people are fucking cheaters. And if you're going to vote for a cheater, then you're educating your kids to be a cheater. You know, if you like con men, that means you enjoy being conned. If any one of you think this guy Vivek the Snake doesn't need to be slapped upside the head, I mean, every time I hear him talk, all I see is con man. And people are being conned who think he's not a con man are probably con men themselves. All right.
I got something in response to that, because you mentioned Vivek a lot, and something else you said is really important. First of all, just a hypothetical. We got to stop saying this conspiratorial. We got to stop making that a bad word. First of all, we got to stop that shit, because we know that the government enhanced that meaning, conspiracy theory, and made it something that was used against the people. So really, anyone who questions authority is basically thrown into, you don't listen to those people, you listen to the authority. We got to stop that type of mindset, because that's why we're in that position that we're in right now. But I think the October 7th event that you alluded to, I almost feel like how convenient now with everything going on, this happens all of a sudden. I'm not one of the types that just believes things just happen out of thin air. I believe that there's so much coordination with some of these events that it's like it's almost too opportune to not be the case. And maybe you have a response to that. I don't know. That's what I've thought about. It's almost like the BLM summer of 2020. It's like all of a sudden you have these protests, people who had never been involved in social advocacy in their lives. They were all in the streets. And then it's like all around an election year. And then it's like those same people aren't anywhere to be found anymore. And it's just, to me, it was very convenient, this particular set of circumstances. And you said the comparison. At first, people were saying, oh, gosh, he's like a bright version of Obama, who was another deceptor. And now they're starting to compare him to you, as you mentioned. I've seen that more and more. People are starting to compare Shiva with Vivek. And I'm like, that's interesting, because at first that comparison wasn't made as strongly, but now I see it happening a lot more. But my question for you, and you can respond to anything I just said, is if you were in power, quote unquote power, the office of the president of the United States, what would you do differently? For instance, if there was a pandemic going around the country, the response to the pandemic in general, whether it was an attitude towards the vaccines or anything at all, what would be your approach to that situation versus what these administrations decided to do?
Yeah, so you're asking a bunch of questions. So let me address all of them, okay? So first of all, look, this is what people need to understand. So I'm going to give you sort of the quantum of the truth here. The quantum of the truth here is there's 8 billion of us. There's about 10,000 to 100,000 of them. Just remember what I'm saying. So how is it 10,000 to 100,000 people of the swarm are able to maintain power and subjugate 8 billion people?
Because we allow it.
And how do they do that?
Controlling the information and controlling the mind.
And how do they do that? What is the mechanics of how they do that? And what I'm saying is I have figured out their mechanics. So again, if you think about Planet of the Apes, it is Caesar teaching all the other apes how they do it, because they've kept us fat, dumb, and lazy. That's why the swarm video is important, okay? Because the reality is the elites have created a technology or used a technology which only they learn. I used to teach that at MIT. And using that technology, they subjugate 8 billion people. It's like, how many people in the world, Kiko, know how to build a nuclear weapon?
Very small amount of people.
Right. So it's not the number of people, but the few nuclear physicists who know how to split an atom are worth a lot to any country. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, in order to learn nuclear physics, you have to be good in grade school in math. You have to then go to graduate school. Then you have to learn nuclear physics. You have to do laboratory experiments. It's not easy. And so we have a bunch of young people today who don't study, who don't know shit. They don't value the amount of training you need to get to this level. They know Michael Jordan, but they don't know the intellectual training you need. Okay? And now it's even worse. You have idiots like Andrew Tate who says it's okay to exploit women, and all these young people follow him, but they have no skills. And I see this among the 20. So it's a very dangerous time for parents with these kind of influences, and for people who actually want to build something. This way, this guy Sneeko was like, oh, I love Vivek. The week before he said, I'm going to vote for you, Dr. Shiva, which he says. But why is he saying that? And I said, why are you saying that when this guy's a fool? So either you're saying that you're an opportunist, or you want, accolades, you say, or you're following the swarm. But anyway, the swarm has figured out the use of a fundamental, very powerful set of scientific principles called system science. And that's how a finite set of people manipulate 8 billion people. So everyone listening, you have to ask yourself, do you want to be a dumb fuck who wants to be of those 8 billion manipulated, or do you want to be a free human being? You may say, I want to be a dumb fuck. Great. Turn this podcast off right now and continue with your fucking life, okay? But if you do not want to be a dumb fuck, and you want to be a warrior, and you want to do something for your children, then continue listening. And what you will understand is the elites have figured out the scientific principles to manipulate you. And this is why, and how do they do that? They use control systems principles, 9 principles. They watch everything you're doing, and it's getting better and better and better. They see you, oh, people are breaking. They're listening to Dr. Shiva. They're figuring things out. Oops, we're going to create a brownie. We're going to create a brown-nosed Brahmin bullshitting motherfucker. Or the black people are starting, oh, we're going to create an Obama. Ooh, the whites are starting to break. We're going to bring in a white guy, Trump, okay? Who'll talk a bunch of shit, but never do any of it. Ooh, the liberals are breaking away. We'll create a Bernie Sanders who never worked a day in his life, right? So they have created these characters who they own. Mm-hmm. And you, if you follow any of these characters after listening to this talk, then you want to be a fucking slave. You're saying, I want to be a slave. Okay? I was going to say something even gross, but you want to be a fucking slave. All right? But if you don't, you'll say, shit, what is this guy saying? Because I came from that slave background, a lower caste, dark-skinned guy who's always had to fight for everything I've had. So if the slave like me got all their knowledge and figured it out, and you're a fucking slave, you should say, shit, I better listen to this guy. Or do I want to be a dumb fuck, fat, dumb, and lazy? And it took me years because, look, I won all of their awards. I got 4 degrees from MIT. A lot of people haven't done that. It's probably 0.0000001%. I created email when I was a 14-year-old kid. I understand how these systems work, and I'm educating us on how to break free. And my run for president gives all of you an opportunity to say, shit, this is what a real leader looks like. One of us, one of my brothers, not one of their hoodwinkers. So if you're among the 8 billion and you think Trump is your fucking leader, you got to have your head seriously checked. He's never worked a day in his life. He's got a golden plated toilet. He can say one thing here, over here. He can say, you can get prostitutes and bang them over here. And then the next day, all these Christian, dumb fuck evangelical Christians are supporting him. You see, that's the brainwashing. Over here, Vivek the Snake can say one thing and has never built anything. Obama, one-term senator overnight becomes president. Not all of this is engineered, guys. And for finally one time in American history, in the recent history, you have someone like me who came from below, who's building a movement, who's educating you to break free. And that is what this is about. And all of you young people want to watch stupid gorillas and TikTok videos. Get your head out of your ass.
Mm-hmm.
Because you are destroying your fucking brains. And look, 3% of the world's population has the First Amendment, and that's the United States. So the elites, the global elites, the swarm is fully connected. So they want to take this 3% of people and make them dumb fucks. Give them free money, have them watch all sorts of crap all day, make sure their parents don't discipline their kids. So a kid can't even put together a little task list. He doesn't know how to use, I mean, I face this, doesn't know how to do a schedule, doesn't know how to communicate, right? You go to his computer, he's watching porn, right? He's playing video games while at work. And the parents have created this because the state has told the parents, if you discipline your kid, we're going to lock you up. So think about what's happened. And this is happening in the United States while other kids in other countries, their parents watch them, they make sure they're doing the work, right? So the elites know we're going to take advantage of these Americans, make them dumb fucks. We'll exploit the Indians in India. We'll exploit the Chinese. We'll exploit the Russians, right? Because the elites are all one. So America better elect me if America wants to survive beyond 2024. So it's up to you. Why do I say that? Well, I'm a true American. I work my butt off for everything. You know, you can go look at my history. Not only did I work my butt off, but I've been a fighter since I was 4 years old. I ran some of the biggest protests when I was 15, 17 years old against Zionism, fighting for workers' rights. This is not a new thing for me to talk anti-establishment. This is not like the in thing to do, like fucker Carlson does. Ooh, I was at Fox, but I couldn't say that. Really? You're a piece of shit. If you're a human being with some balls, you say what needs to be said at the right time, and you sacrifice. He's a little preppy motherfucker who wanted Hunter Biden's help so to get his son into school, right? All these people are one. They never sacrifice anything. They've never fought for any of us. And to think that these people are anti-establishment, you really have to check yourself in. And that is what,
I mean, yeah, especially people like Tucker. I mean, I just don't, like you said, and you may get me the first time around, like, and I'm just speaking hypothetical to that hypothetical person out there, but you're not going to keep that same shit going just over and over and just keep using the same playbook. I mean, how would anyone believe that Tucker Carlson is anything but a neocon? Like, I don't, have you seen his track record?
He's worse.
And then all of a sudden he pivots and he pretends to be, oh, let's free Assange and let's free these political prisoners and let's do this and do that.
He is, someone said, oh, Nikki Haley and DeSantis are bad. Vivek is better. I said, are you a fucking idiot? At least you know Nikki Haley and DeSantis are coming at your throat in the front. These people are coming to stab you in the back, idiot. Okay? So this is the real knowledge that people need to learn. Like Malcolm X said, the wolves come at you, you know, the Southern wolves will tell you, I'm a racist, I'm a redneck, I want to lynch you. Okay? The Northern liberals talk real nice, but they lynch you in many, many, you know, much more evil ways. And that's who these people are. So until the 8 billion of us, at least a subset of them, are willing to get trained and understand this dynamics, you're going to be fucked. You're going to be on their plantation forever. And look, getting back to getting signatures to get on the ballot, you know, even 100 years ago, they used to threaten black people when they voted. Now they threaten all of our volunteers from collecting signatures, black, white, yellow, red. So this is where the modern day election fraud goes. They do not want working people like me, a true hero who's worked his butt off, to be president. And to all of you listening out there, get off your butt, go to Shiva for President, and learn how to collect a signature. Because when you go collecting signatures, you may be there for the cold. 1,000 people may walk by and you'll collect one signature. That's going to make a man or a woman out of you. And then the police come. You got to learn how to face them. You can talk all this shit. I'm telling this to you also, Kiko. You should help us collect signatures, because when you do that, you're exercising a whole musculature of your body that has never been exercised, which is called citizenship. You say, you go to the weight room and you lift weights. If you don't, you get flabby. But if you don't exercise your citizenship, you've become fat, dumb, and lazy. So to all of you out there, if you like me and you like our movement, get off your ass. Really, get off your ass. Go to Shiva for President, get a bumper sticker, but more importantly, collect signatures. Or, go to the website, get this flyer, download it. Because this single flyer teaches people what's going on in the United States. The fact that life expectancy is going down. So if you have a child, your child is going to live shorter than you. How does that make you feel? And this isn't from the vaccines. This is from 60 years, 70 years of brutalization of the food, the healthcare system, many, many things. It's not any one thing. All of these people have been doing this to you, left, right, Republican, Democrat, black, and white. Kennedy and Trump, Biden, and all of them. They have lost all rights to govern over us. We need a systems overhaul. And that's why in the flyer, it's got a link to the Swarm video. Who do we need to overhaul? And then you can go watch one of the videos, and I'll play one of them, and then you could come to our town halls. You see our town halls, we hold 6 of them. We rotate them on healthcare, on the environment, on governance, on innovation. You come to our town halls. I teach you how to invest, the philosophy, how to save your money. We teach you how to protect your body. We saved 100 million of people's lives. So getting back to the question, what would I do as president during a pandemic? I'm going to share with you exactly what we did do, okay? Not what we talked about doing, but what we actually did do, okay? So if let me just go here. I'm going to share with everyone the actual letter. Let me just go here. So some of you may know I wrote a letter to Trump, right? Which was to literally gave him actually the protocol why we didn't have to shut down the country, okay? And, how we could, not have to shut down the country and actually enable people to prosper without a lockdown. So that's the letter that I'm going to bring up right here. I'm going to share it with our audience here. And look at let me bring it up in Zoom too, so your audience could see it. All right. So this is in the heat of battle, not after the fact, what all these grifter doctors did, in the heat of battle. Can you see that? Yeah, March. No, that's when someone else carried the letter. Let me bring up. So let me bring up when the letter was actually written. Okay. It was written on March. Here's a letter, March 20th, March 23rd. So I wrote, and this letter was hand delivered to him by Marla Maples, his former wife, okay, who actually was watching my videos, and she said, me and Tiffany, Trump's other daughter, love you, okay? So this letter I wrote to him saying, look, do not shut down the country. It's called Immune and Economic Health. But look at the date, March of 2020. Rand Paul didn't do shit. I was the one who started the Fire Fauci campaign. We delivered 120,000 signatures. And it says the current trajectory of Anthony Fauci's health policy will result in the short and long-term destruction of our citizens' immune health, as well as our nation's economic health, which is what happened. So I'm predicting this in March of 2020. And then I said, there's no reason to shut down our entire country. There's no reason to quarantine all of our citizens. The solution herein provides a path to advance the immune health of all of our citizens. You see, as a biologist, as a system scientist, I say, you don't need to do this, idiot, okay? Take all the people, separate them into 4 groups. Those people are positive for COVID. Those people are hospitalized. Those people are immunocompromised and healthy individuals. 99% of people are in this last group, okay? And for group 4, I said, tell them basically take vitamin D, quercetin, and zinc, a couple other things. They can go back to work. Don't shut down the country. These people need high dosage vitamin A and vitamin D, right? And if they're in the ICU, give them a high dose drip of vitamin C. All of these are proven protocols. I saved hundreds of millions of people's lives because this stuff went viral. Trump didn't listen to it. But you see, within less than 5 or 10 days, I had put together an entire plan for this country. This is what a real leader does, not a fake leader like Trump. Okay? So think about the fact that America they wouldn't have lost $16 trillion. They wouldn't have had to print $8 trillion. Think about what I'm saying. This is, not just talking the talk, but walking the walk. So I created a protocol, a plan, and regardless if Trump listened to it, I must have done 50 videos. And those videos went viral all over the world. About 500 million people saw them. My vitamin D3 video. I still get emails. You saved my life. I was in the ICU. You gave me hope. Okay? That's what a leader is supposed to do, Kiko. None of these motherfuckers can solve anything. They create problems, fake solutions. My entire life has been creating, identifying real problems and solving real problems. Here's an example. In the midst of 2020, we're the ones who figured out the election systems fraud. We're the ones who gave a solution. Trump stole my stuff and just made money. Didn't do shit. We're the ones who discovered the backdoor portal into Twitter in 2020. Fucker Carlson, Glenn Greenwald hit it. You see, so you have to really ask. I've done the work of 1,000 presidents. I really have. So the issue is, you have to understand, they know this. They know this. They know that we are creating a movement. They know that I'm running. So they are actively, man, putting all stops out to make us invisible, which is failing. Make sure we don't get on the ballot. You see, in 2018 and 2020 in Massachusetts, they never thought I'd get on the ballot, never thought I'd get visibility. I did both. And then they stole the election. You see, they're like a warlord, which doesn't want the peasants, us coming and taking over their kingdom, which is rightfully ours. They have guards around them. Then they have a wall. Then they have a moat, right? The moat is never making sure you never get visibility. Well, we overcame that. Then they have the wall, which is make sure you don't get on the ballot. That's why they had to throw our guy in jail. He did nothing. You see? And then they have the guards, which is, wow, they're making it here. Let's steal the election they have all these techniques, which I uncovered. These people are fucking cheaters, and they want to make it about red versus blue, Trump versus Vivek, Trump versus Hillary, these fake fights. The real fight is class war. There is a real fight. It is the 8 billion of us against them. It is us versus them, not the red versus blue, not the black versus white, not, Bernie Sanders versus Hillary. You see, they create all these fake fights. And people are like, oh my God, I got to vote for Bernie. Bernie's saying all the right things. Oh, Vivek is saying all the right things. You fucking morons. Wake the fuck up. They're all part of this. Wake the fuck up. That's the real awakening. And that is the opportunity people have with our campaign, with our movement. And that is what my life has been dedicated for since I was a 4-year-old kid, man. This is not something new. That's why people say, oh my God, I go back to 2010. He spoke the same things, 2000. Then I go to 1990. Then I go to 1980. Then I go to 1970. I mean, this guy's been a fighter all his fucking life. So the issue is, that's why, when I started this, I said, if people truly want to win at a fundamental level for them and their families, you have no choice but to get your butt off and help us get on the ballot, be part of our movement, because you will learn a lot. And this is our movement. My campaign is not for people who want to talk all sorts of nonsense all day, okay? Want to be a baby, a child, whining. Our movement is for people who want to be true men and women. And that is what we're doing. People come to our movement, they learn a lot. They're very self-reflective. People come from all different backgrounds in our movement. But if you're out there and you've touched our movement, get off your butt and start collecting signatures, or go learn how to hand out a flyer. This is when you become a true citizen. You can talk all day. Oh yeah, I read this health book. I read that health book. Oh, did you go work out today? No. Did you go meditate today? No. Did you sit down and eat? No. Well, I just read about it. And I posted a lot of shit about it. I retweeted shit. You've done nothing. You're a bullshitter. That's why you like being bullshitted too.
Mm-hmm.
So people want to do something, join our movement. If you want to be fat, dumb, and lazy, go vote for those other people. Please don't even come to our movement. Go watch fucker Carlson all day. Go suck up to Joe Rogan all day. Do that. We're not here to convince people, because when the shit hits the fan, you don't need a lot of people to change the world. You want those people who are strong, who are good students, who want to work. And that's what this is about. But if you want to be a fucking moron and be fooled, there's a lot of people out there. I'll give you a recommendation here. Go join Booby fucking Kennedy's campaign. Great volunteer. He wants to be fucked and screwed. Oh, go join his campaign. Like I used to do with employees when we fired them, we used to send them to our competitors. Go work there because you'll fuck up their company. We don't want you to fuck us up.
I can feel your realness, and that's something that's unique about you is even from the independent field of candidates that I've interviewed, and I've interviewed a lot of people, but you have a way of explaining things without this I call it a delusion, this left-right delusion. And I've said this so much on the forum, we got to get away from these labels of left and right. It's all part of the brainwashing campaign. Like, if you just talk about the issues themselves, like everything else will take care of itself. You don't even have to bring up these like basically like useless labels at this point because they're overused, they're not applied the right way. The reality is that we haven't had any candidate that's gone through that door that's actually lived up to those principles. Because if they did, we wouldn't even be having this conversation, about what is the left and what is the right. I mean, it's obviously a delusion. It's not something that you can actually point to and say that person's living by that actual principle. So I would tell that to my listeners to kind of look at these candidates at what their actions are and what are the actual principles behind their campaigns and what solutions are they bringing to the table, as opposed to, oh, they're a socialist, oh, they're a libertarian, oh, they're this, they're that. That would be my advice to everyone that's listening to Kiko's Free Thinkers Forum, because I have people all the time tell me, Kiko, this is a leftist forum. Even though I may identify as something, that doesn't mean that's what it is. That's not what I ever intended it to be. This is an open forum, and I don't want to be defined by any label in particular. So I'm Kiko, the host of the forum, and that's as far as I go with it. Everything else is completely an open book. And I'm really glad, Dr. Shiva, that you decided to share your knowledge with the audience. And if we can have you back on down the road, we'd be totally happy and excited about that. We would have a lot more to talk about for sure. But I think that this hour that we've discussed here today has been a great introduction to my audience, and hopefully people can contemplate some of the things you brought up today.
Yeah. So as I close, Kiko, I assume we want to close out, right? So as I close, let me just share a couple of things with people. My life is really, it's really about action. So the thing I just wanted to share with your audience before I close is, one is people should go to this website, Shiva for President. Okay, I got to share it over here. And the reason I recommend everyone go to this website is when you go to this website, here are the actions you can do. First action is you can go and you can go to the shop here and you can get a bumper sticker. Okay. Again, you become an agent of change. 100,000 people see this. The next thing is there's a free download here. Can you see this, Kiko? Oh, you can. Okay. In this free download, there's a flyer. Can you see the flyer? I just zoomed in. Oh, okay. Let me do something. I think I'm going to have to do this. For you to see this, I have to show the actual window. Okay. I think I got to go to the, I think I have to go to the entire screen. Okay. Can you see that now? Okay. How's that? Okay. Let me do it the right way. I got to go here. Okay. There. You should see the entire screen now. You see my whole screen? All right. Hold on one second. I'm not sure what's going on. All right. Sorry, everyone. So am I allowed to share screen still? Okay. So you don't see me sharing the entire screen right now? Oh, that's interesting. It doesn't let me share the screen. Okay. So let me go here then. Can you see can you see that? Hold on. Yep. Okay. And if I click on shop, do you see that? Oh, you do. Okay, good. Okay, good. So let me do that for my audience here. Sorry, everyone. There's always okay. All right. So you can see my screen, right? So what I said first was people can go to the shop, which you can see, right? Here's an action item, order a bumper sticker. So, and if you, some people order 10 of them, they just give them to their friends, Kiko. I told them, don't do that. If you order 10, make sure you tell your friends that if you put it on their car, make a joke, it's going to save them some gas, but make sure they get it on their car. You see the 10 pack here? Okay. The second thing may seem like a very trivial thing. What I'm saying is here people can go, and do you see this flyer? Okay. This is an important flyer. You can print it out, go to your library, you can print it out black and white, but this flyer really gives people, hand it out, keep in your glove compartment. Okay. It's like you're an overnight activist. Okay. This tells people the problem, what's going on with life expectancy. And this is a problem that's been going on for 6 years. It gives a link to the Swarm video. It's basically an educational flyer. And it tells people come to our online town hall, which we run every Thursdays, like clockwork, okay? We do it every Thursdays. People can come, then go to vashiva.com /orientation and sign up for 11 a.m. and 8 p.m., all right? So that's a second thing people can do. And finally, Kiko, what they can do is they can go volunteer, okay? And when they volunteer, they can help us get on the ballot. You see, in today's world, our campaign, and by the way, people are asking various questions. How do you get on the ballot? Well, you have to go collect these signatures, okay? So people can go help us collect signatures. And don't do it for me, do it for yourself, because we're giving you the opportunity to actually learn what citizenship feels like and looks like. They don't want people exercising their muscles, Kiko, their citizenship muscles. And when you do this and you go collect signatures, you have to meet people, you have to talk to people, and then you'll see how hard it is to collect a signature. You say, wow, they make it really difficult for an independent candidate, okay? This is why the GOP, they'll realize in their head, oh my God, I was out here for an hour, only collected 20 signatures, okay? And now I got to collect 130,000 signatures in Florida. You see, then they start realizing in real time with their actions. Otherwise, it's all just theory. And when they succeed as a team, so to get on the ballot, every state has different ballot requirements, okay? No one's on the ballot anywhere because you have a certain timeline, you have to collect signatures, right? Mm-hmm. And we've collected signatures. We're not going to say for certain states that are pretty good, we're going to get on the ballot, okay? But we need all of you to support this. This is why we decided, separate from our movement, to run, Kiko, to give people the opportunity to participate as citizens. And the last thing people can do is getting back to the fact, if you want to use a Planet of the Apes model, training others. And that really comes for everyone to understand that we've created an infrastructure, a global infrastructure, an educational infrastructure for people to understand how they manipulate you, how they abuse you, and how we can break out of it. Okay, the science, the physics of it. And for that, people should go to, truthfreedomhealth.com. All right. And at truthfreedomhealth.com, they truly can get educated, or you can be enslaved. You will understand the fact that the elites, and we have a history of winning, our methods work, okay? There's a lot of information out there, Kiko, but people are not getting healthier, better. Look at the data here, okay? More people obese, more people anxious, more people want to overthrow their governments. And the reality is, even though there's information, it goes through the lens of ignorance. And through this ignorance, people are manipulated to get into a mode of complacency, you see? Or desperation, or left and right. This is the process that all of those people know. Trump knows this. Bernie Sanders knows this. Robert Kennedy knows this. Booby Kennedy knows this. Biden knows this. Vivek the Snake knows this. Nikki, they all know this. They want you to be in one of these worlds. And they have these people. It's one thing Biden isn't, or Bush or Clinton. They're all part of it. But these people are the real evil. Okay? Because they're the ones who keep you stuck to them. They're entertainers. They're manipulators. And the solution is we have to break from them. And the idea is to learn the science of systems. Okay? You have to understand how things are interconnected. Then you get to wisdom, clarity. You become an activist. You see, you want to let go of the old system. but this is for people who really want to become leaders and advance themselves. Okay? So, yeah. Yeah. Right. No, we're not attacking everybody. We're attacking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 people. Okay. And maybe 12 people, because you have to understand, and everyone listening, if you want to get your head out of your ass, ask yourself, how come she gets on Fox News all day? How come he's on every media? How come these? Because if they were truly your saviors and your fighters, they're not going to be allowed on any of their media. So ask yourself, Tulsi Gabbard is your fighter. She talks about anti-war. She's the one who was all after going and blowing up Iraq after 9/11. She was totally a rabid war dog for going and killing every Palestinian. Same with this fool, Booby fucking Kennedy. Okay? Go look at all of them. All of these people were, in one form or the other supporting vaccine mandates, and Alex Jones is basically an entertainer. Okay. He knows Trump talked to David Knight, who was his partner. He knows Trump was full of shit, but needed the Trumpers to sell his vitamin pills. This fool, Sadhguru, is the biggest faker on the planet. So all of these people get media visibility. Why? Ask yourself why. And if you're not willing to ask yourself why, then ask yourself why you don't want to ask that question. And the reason is you want to sit on your ass and perhaps not do anything. And if that's what you want to do, you're going to get the results that you want. You're going to get perpetual enslavement. Okay? So Truth, Freedom, Health is where, for those people who really want to learn, want to build their muscles, okay? But we've given people all sorts of other things they can do, Kiko, right? Our goal is, I'm speaking a lot of truth, a lot of theory, a lot of knowledge, a lot of history. It's a lot of stuff I'm hitting you with. But then I want to make it simple. Hey, go. Now, notice I haven't asked $1 for our campaign throughout this whole thing. If you want to give money, I give you books, I give you courses, okay? Because I cannot do that. I wasn't trained in that model. So to everyone listening, understand this is about you. This is about whether you want to unenslave yourself or whether you want to be a slave. Frankly, that's what it's about. It was my mom's 12th death anniversary on January 7th. Okay. When I got the call that one of our volunteers has been jailed and all this. And then anyway, in India, you typically do prayer. And I went to pray. And the message I got from my mom was, don't come here, which is wherever she is. Okay. Until you freed the slaves. And that's what I'm here for, man. I have figured out how they manipulate us. So if you want to truly be free, freedom, then, our movement's here, our campaign's here. If you want to be a slave and you want to be manipulated and you don't want to look at all, you have to ask yourself, why are these people on mainstream media? How come I'm allowed to see them? And then ask yourself, why is DrSHIVA shadow banned? When he got all their degrees, he won all their awards, he invented the first email system, you would think he would be the person that'd be perfect for president of the United States. And that question will lead you to the solution. But you have to ask the question, yeah, I'm attacking them, viciously attacking them, because I know these people. I've sat in front of Trump and talked to him one-on-one for 2 hours. I know probably every one of those people there, every single one of them I've had personal contact with. Let me go back. I think every single one of them, let me look at that.
I believe you. No, it makes total sense. You have connections with everybody.
Right. So the point is, we have an opportunity if you want to unenslave yourself. If you want to stay on the plantation, go for it. Stay on it all day long.
Dr. Shiva, while we still have you here,
yeah,
beautiful people, I won't say anything outside of this, what I'm about to ask Dr. Shiva, and he can leave, he can close the conversation wherever he wants. But I just want to say this has been a wonderful episode. And like I said, you can stay on as long as you want and talk, and I'll be here to listen to you. But can you get us behind the curtain, since you shared so much, you've been so transparent with us? Have you had any sort of contact with other people running for president? And have you tried to get them on like a debate stage with you? Or has anyone like tried to debate you and then pull out last second? Like, give us some information.
So look, I have had, contact with Booby fucking Kennedy, with Trump, right? Who else?
Jill Stein, Cornel West, any of those?
No, they just put Cornel West. They pull out of a closet because he's like the token bullshit radical. Apparently, only this year it took him all this time to figure out Bernie Sanders was a bullshitter. Come on, all right.
Supported Biden 2020, just ridiculous.
Yeah, he's a moron. Okay, they just pull him out. Okay, we pull him out. We got a black radical. Go back to your closet. Pull him out. He's their token radical. Okay, so the reality is, I challenged Kennedy to debate. He won't. They won't debate me because I'll destroy them. You see, everything they do is outlined for them. All right. You have to ask, why is the New York Times promoting Vivek the Snake so much? Why is he trend on Twitter overnight? Why? This doesn't, and why am I shadow banned? Why are you shadow banned? Why do our videos get taken down? And that will lead you to the conclusion. The establishment is a finite set of people, and they decide who gets visibility. It starts with visibility, right? So the problem they have is we got visible. So now people are saying, wait a minute, how come Dr. Shiva is not being included? How come Dr. Shiva is not being included? How come Dr. Shiva is not being included? And they don't know what to say to that. And then we actually have a movement. We have our own data center. We don't rely on any one of them. We say, fuck you. We call him Fucker Carlson. Ooh, no, you should be nice to Tucker. No, we don't. We don't care. We don't fucking care. We're building our own movement. And so we're absolutely, truly independent. Booby Kennedy's running as an independent after I did, but he has to suck Zionist cock every day, right? That's what he does. Full time, he sucks Zionist cock. And just picture him doing that. That's what he does. Okay?
Well, they had that picture with the rabbi, and I lied, so I wouldn't say anything again, but you brought it up. The rabbi, I don't know, this guy they keep bringing on every damn television show you can think of, Piers Morgan. Everyone knows this rabbi, this Smoley, whatever his damn name is. And Kennedy was in the background with him, and it looks like he was just signing his life away. His expression told it all. He's just sitting there with the rabbi. He's just like, why am I here? But it's like, I have to do it because I've signed on to this stuff.
No. He's always been like that. His whole family's like that.
Okay.
No, you have to understand he's part of an organized crime family. And don't feel bad because look, you have to understand, John F. Kennedy was one of the most reckless assholes of our time. He's the one who invaded Vietnam, all right? His brother, RFK, was watching all the civil rights leaders, bugging all of them. They chose Martin Luther King because they knew Martin Luther King. They had a lot of shit on Martin Luther King. He was banging everyone. He was a drug addict, right? That's why they have MLK Day and we don't have Malcolm X Day, because Malcolm was real. So they chose MLK and they promoted him because they needed someone that was controllable. And it's like all the people that they push out there, they have shit on them. And if they step out of bounds a little bit, then guess what they do? They get a double whammy. Then all the people following them say, oh my God, poor Russell Brand. Then they still think Russell Brand is some hero when he was a scumbag always. So they get to be martyrs, you see? So that's what they did with MLK. MLK didn't fundamentally want to do what Malcolm X wanted to do, which was inner cities, infrastructure, make black people strong. He was just a tool, man. He was a black bourgeois tool. He was a Southern Baptist minister who was not anywhere near any ordinary black person. He went to BU in the 60s. Come on, get his P. That's not what ordinary black people did. So the Kennedys selected him, promoted him, and they create their own fake martyrs. We need our own heroes, man. We need our own. And that's what they're afraid of, that we will choose our own, right? We will choose our own. And that's what they don't want. So everyone here, go get a bumper sticker. That's the way you're saying, fuck you. Hand out a flyer. You're saying, fuck you to them. It's a great way to say, fuck you. Go collect ballot signatures. And you are actually having some political power when you do that, because they want you to have none. And they define what winning is. Oh, are you sure you can win? Shut the fuck up. We're already winning. Every person who comes to our movement and puts one of these bumper stickers, this is like a massive victory, because they're like, fuck. Oh my God, I was driving down. I saw another Dr. Shiva bumper sticker. What the fuck is going on? We have, and we're going to force them to spend more of their money. That's a victory. Every person who comes to our movement is a victory, because we know they're not going to give us visibility. We know they're going to try to inhibit us from ballot access. We know even if I win, they're going to steal the election. That's what they did. So our winning has to be measured on our battlegrounds, which is one of you putting up a bumper sticker. That's a win, because that means you said, shit, I like this guy, and I'm going to peel off that and put it on my fucking car to let everyone else know. That's a victory. And then, oh, I'm going to now go print out these flyers. That's a victory. I'm going to go collect signatures from, I don't know how many I'm going to collect, but I'm going to do that. I'm going to join their team. I'm going to go to Truth, Freedom, Health and become a warrior scholar. All of these things are victories, victories, victories. So we have everything to win. They have everything to lose.
100%. I think that's a proper conclusion. All I would say now is that I'm going to link everything that Dr. Shiva has mentioned. He has a beautiful YouTube channel, and I'm going to link that YouTube channel and all of his links from his websites and all the tools that he shared with us today. I'm going to put all in the episode description. Make sure you follow it there. And again, subscribe to his YouTube channel, follow his platforms or whatever. He's written so many pieces of literature that you guys can go look at. He has a very well documented history, and he shares some of that with us today. And again, support independent media. It doesn't cost you a dime to do it, to subscribe to his YouTube channel, my YouTube channel, and any of the stuff that he's mentioned today. It doesn't cost you anything but a little bit of your time if you want to change your mind. And that's what I would say and conclude with today. Beautiful people, enjoy the rest of your days, and cheers, and we'll talk to you soon.
Be well, Kiko. I'm just going to finish up on my channel playing a video. Be well, Kiko. We'll be in touch.
Okay, thank you.
The recording has stopped.
Be well, brother. Take care. Bye-bye.
Hey, you too.
Yep. So to everyone here, I'm going to play a quick video. I wanted to thank Kiko. He's a very nice gentleman. I'm just going to play you guys a video, which will share with you our presidential campaign. But get involved, everyone. Get involved. Stop just watching videos. Get off your butt and get involved. So let me play the video for you here.
Who would have ever thought I'd be running for president of the United States of America? I was born a low-caste untouchable in India's caste system, a system of aristocracy, oppression, and racism. My name is Dr.SHIVA Ayyadurai. I'm an MIT PhD, a Fulbright scholar, a scientist, engineer, entrepreneur, and inventor. My family and I left India to come to America on my 7th birthday. I grew up in the working-class neighborhoods of New Jersey, playing baseball, mowing lawns, painting houses, and coding software. My friends and neighbors are blacks, Italians, Irish, people of all races. As a 14-year-old, I wrote 50,000 lines of software code to create the world's first email system, and was awarded the first U.S. copyright for email, recognizing me as its official inventor at a time when copyright was the only way to protect software inventions. I did that long before I ever came to MIT, revealing that big innovations can occur anytime, any place, by anybody. Growing up, I saw politicians dividing us by race and religion in both America and India, to have us fighting each other while they remained safe in their gated communities and in their playgrounds of Hollywood, Martha's Vineyard, and Silicon Valley. I'm a fighter. I fought racism and exposed their imperialist wars, fought for workers, and put my life on the line against global corruption. I never wanted to run for political office. All that changed when I saw working Americans as never before being duped by the establishment, and the not-so-obvious establishment. Across left and right, we were being sold out and made to forget why we came to America and why America existed. Lawyers, academics, billionaires, celebrities, and politicians, elites, Clintons, Kennedys, Bidens, Obamas, Bushes, black and white have hijacked America. They printed trillions for their friends. They delivered crumbling infrastructure, corruption, and racism. They transferred trillions to themselves, dividing black and white, fear-mongering, and fake science. Lockdowns and censorship, dirty air, food, and water, pushing drugs upon us, making us sicker. We've been sold out. One set of rules for them and another for us. We deserve a warrior with a history of courage in putting everything on the line for you, who believes in you, not them, who has created a movement bottoms up for truth, freedom, health. I've exposed their lies at the right time, never waiting until it was popular. I've exposed their false gods who exist to lead you back to them. I've exposed their fake science of lockdowns and masking and provided you solutions to fight them and win and protect your immune system, saving millions. I exposed Fauci, galvanized the Fire Fauci campaign when others remained silent. When they stole our election, we sued the government and Twitter in our historic 2020 federal lawsuit, exposing in bare view the government and big tech censorship infrastructure, the unholy alliance between government and social media companies. Where was Elon and his grifters? They stood by the sidelines and did nothing. They did not use their megaphones to help us when it could have made a big difference. Now our movement grows for truth, freedom, health, independent of all of them. Every day, millions are learning the science of systems, the knowledge the elites do not want you to have, so you may learn how to think, stand up, and fight, independent of the establishment of left and right and their fake heroes. Now it's time for you to join the movement, to win back America, to win back truth, win back freedom, win back your health. That's why I'm running for President of the United States. This race is about you. This race is about truth, freedom, health versus power, profit, control. We've had enough. They think we'll fall in line and vote again for their lawyers, celebrities, billionaires, and chosen ones from above. We choose our heroes from below, from the rank and file, who do what is right at the right time, not when it's convenient and popular. They can never represent us. What America needs is a movement by the working people, for the working people, who are educated, organized, decentralized, and fight for independence from their systems of control. And that movement exists. It's ready for you. We don't need them. We need us to go bottoms up, neighbor to neighbor. My journey, your journey are all the same. It's our time. It's time we had one of us. It's time to win back truth, freedom, health, to win back America. Be part of this historic movement, all the way to our victory on November 5th, 2024. If you're an American citizen, pledge your vote now for Dr. Shiva Ayyadurai, the independent candidate for U.S. President. No matter where you live, you can be a part of this. Volunteer as little as 20 minutes a day. Don't delay. This is Dr. Shiva Ayyadurai, and I approve this message, paid for by Dr. Shiva for President.
All right, everyone, go to Shiva for President, take some action, get a bumper sticker, give them to your friends, and download this flyer, right? And educate others. This is an easy way you can educate. And finally, come to our open house, which we do every Thursdays at 11 a.m. and 8 p.m. So those are things you can do. And then go to truthfreedomhealth.com and become a warrior scholar. Anyway, I hope this has helped all of you. And as we close, this was the talk about why America needs Dr. Shiva Ayyadurai, me, for president in 2024. And the only way we're going to get there is through you raising your consciousness and recognizing that all these fake heroes are being created, manufactured, promoted by the establishment to brainwash you so you never get off the plantation. So anyway, I hope this